Hello, welcome to Travel with Austin. I'm Austin, and today we will be talking about the infamous Centralia Mine Fire. 1,400 residents used to live there. Now, it's just a ghost town. Centralia was once a bustling mining community with over 2,700 residents at its very peak population. Coal mining was the main business in town for many years, but unfortunately, with the Great Depression, many of the mines in the town closed. However, bootleg miners moved into the closed mines, attempting to make money off of whatever was left in them. This bootleg mining led to many underground tunnels collapsing underneath the town. The story of the infamous fire begins in May of 1962, when the city council proposed cleaning up the local landfill. Centralia was filled with loosely regulated landfills, and the town was said to have issues with both odors and rats. Now, this particular dump that they wanted to clean up, however, was in the pit of an old strip mine. According to most sources, the council did not record the exact method they planned on cleaning it up, as laws prevented dump fires at the time. And on May 27, 1962, the dump was set on fire, and water was used to put out the visible flames that night. 2 days later, more flames popped up, which had to be put out. This continued with crews often putting out new fires that started at the dump, even at one point bringing in a bulldozer to move the trash around to allow the crews to extinguish areas normally buried under garbage. Eventually, they found a 15-foot wide tunnel in the pit that had been concealed by the garbage and had burned away. It is believed that this could have led to the fire spreading out into the abandoned mining tunnels under the city. Despite the continuing effort to put out the flames, nothing was successful. As late of July of that year, the town was still allowing people to dump their garbage at that very garbage dump. By August, council members had meetings with mine inspectors, mining agencies, and government officials. They denied knowing what had caused the fire, saying it was from an unknown cause. Mines in the area had to be shut down, and attempts to stop the fire were unsuccessful, in part due to the collapsed underground tunnels caused by the bootleg miners. The town continued to burn underground. In some areas, the temperature underground was said to be as hot as 900 degrees Fahrenheit. People continued to live in the town, but by 1981, it was not only too late to put out the fire, but even the above-ground area had become unsafe. It was reported that the dead could no longer rest, as graves had begun to fall into the fiery pit below. That same year, a 12-year-old boy narrowly escaped death as a sinkhole opened up underneath his feet. In 1984, legislation was passed, and most homeowners in the area accepted buyouts to move elsewhere. In 1992, 30 years after the first mine fire started, Governor Bob Casey enacted eminent domain and condemned all buildings in Centralia. 10 years later, in 2002, the United States Post Office discontinued Centralia's zip code. And it wasn't until 2009, 42 years after the fire began, that the state decided to begin evictions. The remaining residents sued to stay on their land, and although they lost the lawsuit, the state decided in 2013 to make an agreement with the remaining residents. They were able to remain on their land for the rest of their lives, but they are unable to sell the land, unable to pass the land down to any family, and once they die, the land becomes property of the state. Now, due to the spooky atmosphere, Centralia became a popular tourist attraction. mostly due to the steam coming up from the ground, the abandoned buildings, and the famous graffiti highway. Now, it's also no secret that Centralia is famous for being the inspiration for Silent Hill. Because of all this, Centralia, as a ghost town, experienced a tourist boom. People coming to see the abandoned buildings, the graffiti highway, or even just to compare it to Silent Hill itself. Of course, this was seen as bad by property owners, local officials, and the government. Many of the abandoned buildings were torn down, and the famous graffiti highway was covered with dirt to prevent tourists from coming into the dangerous area. Today, Centralia is a ghost town. With its tourism even being shut down, there is really no reason to visit this town. And it is said that the fire underneath Centralia could burn for more than 250 years. While it is the most famous mine fire in the US, it is actually far from the only one, with at least 259 mine fires currently burning across the country. This is the story of the Centralia Mine Fire, the most infamous mine fire in the United States and the inspiration for Silent Hill. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe as it really helps me out a lot.